Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And we are just about to finish shift, and this video is going to be about illness. So illness can obviously be to myself or to my dog, and this is something that's happened this week. So we started off our week normal. We turned up for our shift on the Sunday. My dog was perfectly fine when I turned up, and then it got to about midnight, just gone midnight, and all of a sudden my dog just threw up. And I thought, well, that's a little weird. And then we went out and we done a patrol, and he threw up again, and I was like, okay, this is very weird. Then he kept drinking water and kept throwing up, and I rung the emergency vet and said, like, this is what's going on, what do you think? And the emergency vet said, right, take the water away for a couple of hours and then give him the water back in small portions and just see how he goes on. If this carries on, then go and see the vet in the morning. And this was about 3 o'clock, so gave him no water for a couple of hours, then gave him a little bit of water, which he had, which he then threw up. So I said, okay, well, I need to take the dog to the vet. And we went to the vet and they gave him some gastro tablets, said put him on some plain food, so boiled chicken and rice, give him that for a couple of days, see how he is. And this is where I had to make a decision. So with this job, if obviously I'm ill, I can get paid sick leave or the equivalent, but with the dog is a tool. So the dog is basically like my van. So if my van had a puncture or whatever it was and I couldn't use it, I couldn't ring up and say, oh, by the way, I'm not going to make it in because of X, Y and Z. So my dog being sick is the same as my van having a puncture. So this is where I said I needed to make a decision. Now, could I have taken my dog to work? Absolutely, I could have taken my dog to work, but I know that he's ill, and this is where my pet, my tool, whichever way I said it. So this is where my pet, my tool comes in, and as my tool, absolutely, he could work, he could do patrols, etc. If he obviously isn't well, but he could do the job. But as my pet, I know myself, if I was the same way he was, if I wasn't able to keep water or food down, I know for myself I wouldn't turn up to work. So as my pet, why would I expect him to do the same? So we had to take Monday and Tuesday off, and I kind of reassessed on the Wednesday, which is our normal day off. I reassessed on the Wednesday to see if we was going to come in tonight, and he was bettering himself. Even the Monday, Tuesday, he was quite happy to go for walks, etc. He just was very what's a nice way of putting this? Liquidy. He was very liquidy, but he started to be becoming a little bit more solid, and even now it's sort of 50-50, but he's obviously a lot better than himself. So I thought, well, it's the last shift of the week, let's get him out, see how he is, see how he copes, and then we can go again next week. And he's been okay. He's got through the shift okay. He's very tired. He seems to be sleeping a lot, just through being ill. But most of this is just about illness. And someone did ask me not that long ago that if the dog is injured or the dog is ill, do you get paid sick leave? No, you don't, because the dog is not a security officer. The dog is a tool, and this is probably why a lot of people have multiple dog teams. So there'll be one person that will have 2, 3, even up to 5 dogs that they can work, because if one goes down, then obviously they have a backup. Now, the likelihood of 4 dogs going down is obviously very rare. I can't imagine there would be too much of a situation that would happen. Some people just like to have a lot of dogs, but this is why people have multiple teams, and this is something you have to recognise when you do this job. If you're only going to have one dog like I do, you have to recognise that if the dog goes ill, you can't work. So what I did is I just took a couple of holidays. So obviously I get my statutory holiday throughout the year, which I can take, and obviously I get paid for that. Now, if I had not turned up Monday and Tuesday, I obviously wouldn't have got paid, because they're not going to pay me when I'm not here. So what I did is I took Monday and Tuesday as holiday, so I still get paid for them days. And basically what I'll look at doing is I'll look at picking up a couple of extra shifts at some point throughout the year to kind of make up for that, so that let's say I run out of holiday in October, November, and I want a couple of days off. Because I've worked them extra couple of shifts to get my money back, basically all I've done is I've prepaid myself to have 2 unpaid days later in the year. Now if I don't need to take them days, then brilliant, obviously I won't take it. But if I do run out of holiday because of these 2 days of illness, I know that I've worked them extra shifts somewhere in the year to kind of prepay myself. And maybe that's a good way of looking at it, is that if your dog does go ill and you need to have a couple of days off, don't look at it as in taking some unpaid days. Take them as holiday, try and get some extra shifts. Maybe if you have to work a couple of Saturdays throughout the year, try and get a couple of extra shifts, so that later on in the year, if you need a couple of days off and you've got no holiday left, then maybe you can just take a couple of unpaid and say, okay, I'm not getting paid for these 2 days, but I got 2 paid days earlier in the year when the dog was off and we had a couple of days off anyway. So I'll just be interested to see what you would have done in this situation. Now obviously people with multi-dogs, they'll say, well, I would have just left that dog at home and I would have taken the other dog. That obviously that's good, that's what they would do. But anyone that's got a single dog, or if you do have multiple dogs, and just put yourself in my situation with 1 dog, what would you have done? Would you have taken the unpaid days, or would you have taken them as holiday? Would you have taken the dog to work, and not force the dog to work, but sort of monitored the dog just at work? Because if the dog's going to be ill at home, is it any different to being ill at work? So I'll just be interested to see what anyone has to say about it. That's the way I've done it. Hopefully if someone else is in this situation, then they may look at it the same way, or maybe it's giving you some ideas. But the biggest thing to come out of this is just remember, when your dog is ill, you're not going to get paid sick pay. You either have to take it unpaid or take it as holiday. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below for loads more videos, and I'll see you again next week. See you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.